What's up? It's April 2nd, 2020. Man, it is it's a crazy time to be alive. Man, there's a lot of crazy stuff going on around the planet. And I've had a couple people reach out to me asking me to make a video on my thoughts, because I certainly have my own thoughts as to what's going on with everything. And over the last couple weeks, information has been finding me, and today I got some information that really put a lot of the pieces together, in my mind at least. And so I have a very interesting perspective on what's going on with this so-called virus, but more so I'm paying attention to the economic effects of what's going on. You've got, as of today, 6.6 million people in America who have now filed for unemployment just over the last 3 weeks. And so I'm looking at the effects of people not going to work, not making money, not being able to pay their bills, not being able to provide, food, clothing, and shelter for themselves and for their families. That, I think, is going to have a much bigger toll on everything than this so-called virus. And so kind of getting to that, if you've watched any of my videos or you've seen anything that I'm really into, first of all, for you to really understand what I'm going to talk about in this video, you have to understand kind of some fundamental beliefs that I have. And the first concept that you really have to understand is that you are not a physical being. Okay? So I'm already going to get way off on left field here. You are not a physical being. Your body is made up of trillions of cells. Okay? At a non-physical level, you are made up of energy, you are made up of DNA, you're made up of cells. Okay? And we live in a physical, three-dimensional reality. Time and space, physical reality. You have to understand that before you're really going to get any of the other stuff that I'm going to be talking about. You have to understand that at a non-physical level, you are not a physical being. All the stuff around me, rocks, trees, grass, dirt, it's not physical. At a deeper level, it's made up of energy. And this energy vibrates at certain rates of vibration, or what we call frequencies. Okay? Now, moving on, everything in the known universe changes and evolves. Everything is in a constant state of change or constant state of evolution. Us and our world is really no different. So everything's changing. And so what's also really changing around us right now is the way that we think, the way that we act. Those things are really changing too. Hey. And so what's going on right now, and a lot of people have been talking about this, is an ascension or an awakening is happening around the planet right now. And what an ascension or an awakening is, it's when the fundamental beliefs that you've been running on, or your paradigm, changes in a very dramatic way. So right now around the planet, a lot of our paradigms are being challenged. The paradigm around government is changing. Our paradigm around money, finance Economics is changing. Our fundamental thoughts and beliefs about religion are changing, and they're changing exponentially. And this is creating a lot of resistance in the individual. It's called cognitive dissonance. It's when you've lived your entire life believing that certain things were true, and then out of nowhere something happens that causes you to completely question everything that you've been taught in that area. And that's what's happening right now. Because of all of these structures that we've been living under for so long, they're now changing, and they're changing so rapidly. Look at government. We're seeing all these people's lies. We're seeing the greed. We're seeing the corruption. We're seeing the manipulation. We're seeing it so blatantly clear that's now causing us to question it. Same thing for money. Same things for religion. All those things are changing. And so we're going through this. Okay? Well, now that leads me up to this virus thing. Okay? Because as we're ascending at such a rapid rate, what that's actually causing in the physical body is it's causing a lot of turmoil, because what's really going on is, in order for you to ascend, in order for your consciousness to raise, you have to let go of the shit that you're holding on to that's holding you back from ascending spiritually, consciously, however you want to look at it. Okay, and what's holding you back are all the secrets, or all the skeletons in your closet. The fear, guilt, shame, resentment, blame, anger, all of those stories that you're still holding on to, things that might have happened to you even when you were a child, that you're still holding negative, or I shouldn't say negative, just denser energy, okay? Guilt, fear, shame, resentment, those are all very low vibrational energies. And if you're holding on to them, that means that collectively, at a cellular, non-physical level, you are not vibrating at the same rate that everything else is evolving. Because even I'm out here in nature, nature doesn't resist, it just goes with the flow. Just goes with the flow and grows and evolves. But us, on the other hand, we're going through this ascension process. And so in order to ascend, we must let go of the anchors, the emotional anchors. Well, the emotion is the physical manifestation of the stories that you're still holding on to. Your karma, that's your karma. You're here to forgive the transgressions of your past, whoever they might have been by. Okay? So we're ascending. Now, because we're ascending at such a fast rate, a lot of people, they're not able to, one, their awareness is not at the level where they're going to say, oh yeah, I am holding on to a lot of shit. I am mad at the government. I am mad at the church. I am mad at my mom and dad. I am mad at my ex-wife, ex-husband. I am mad at my kids. I am mad at the government. I am mad. I'm pissed off at my freaking first girlfriend for breaking my heart. Still haven't forgiven. Okay? Well, now all this stuff is coming up. And if you're not processing it, you're not letting it go, you're not forgiving, you're not forgetting, you're still stuck in that energy. And now that the infinite energy of the universe, call it whatever you want, it's really spurring us to evolve and to ascend and to learn these lessons, to heal our hearts, to get into our hearts and to ascend. And so we're manifesting these diseases and these viruses. So that leads me to viruses. So a few years ago, I listened to a program from Tony Robbins. And in that program, he's talking about viruses. And he went and did a bunch of research on viruses. And what he found was that viruses really don't fit the characteristics of a living organism. And what he actually came to the conclusion of was that viruses were actually waste. It's waste from cells. And when this thing first popped up a couple weeks ago, I came across a video by Dr. Greg Braden. And he confirmed the same things, that a virus is not a living organism. It's a waste product. Okay? So you don't get a virus. A virus is when your cells have got too much poison in them, and it is trying to eliminate that poison or the toxins. And so then we get sick. Our body gets sick. And so right now, this energy is flowing through the universe. It's flowing through you and I, and it's causing a lot of our karma to come bubbling to the surface. And if you're not dealing with that, then you're going to get a virus or a dis-ease. And isn't it interesting that the majority of people who've been affected by this so-called virus are older people? And I have nothing but love for older people, but think about this. Older people, look at your mind as like a biocomputer. Okay? You put data in it, you process the data, you're able to calculate data, so on and so forth. Well, we also, just like your phone or your computer, it has operating software updates. Well, even if you have an older phone, let's say like an iPhone 1, well, the hardware is so old that it doesn't support the new software. So what's happening right now is that you got a lot of older people that their hardware doesn't support the new software. So I can understand completely too. You got a lot of older people that come from a totally different time, a totally different world that was running on totally different morals and values and ethics. And now we have a world where that's radically different. I could imagine being someone in their 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s, that they're resentful towards younger generations. And I could see younger generations being resentful towards the older generations. And I could see everybody blaming the government. And I could see everybody blaming the money system. And I can understand and I can empathize with it all. But the karma doesn't care. You're here to grow as a spiritual, non-physical being. You're not here to make a bunch of money. You're not here to have a bunch of sex. You're not here to get a bunch of likes on the internet. You are here to grow as a spiritual being. You're here to evolve your consciousness. And that's what's happening right now, is we're being almost forced or spurred into action. And if you do not act, you will be acted upon. And so, to kind of bring it home, I watched a video this morning talking about 5G. And what they were saying on 5G. And I'm going to put a really cool spin on this. Okay? They were saying in this video is that 5G, the new frequency that 5G runs on, is causing cellular poisoning. And that's what's killing people. Because again, a virus isn't something you get. A virus is waste from cell poisoning. And they were showing some things like where, with the virus was most prevalent is also where these 5G towers are. But now I'm going to put that spin on it. Rather than looking at it from a dystopian point of view, I'm going to say the 5G, what that symbolizes is the manifestation of the new frequency of the new earth, of the new planet, of the new reality that we're living in. It's 10 times more powerful than the previous frequency. And that's how evolution works. Like Moore's law is that technology compounds on itself. So as we move into this new earth, as we move into the new frequency, a lot of people aren't going to evolve. A lot of people aren't going to ascend because they're not willing to heal their karma. They're not willing to go through their shit and to process it and to heal it and to let go of it. And therefore, they're going to create dis-ease in the body. Because dis-ease is just a body that's not at ease. Your natural state of being is peace and love and harmony and homeostasis. But we've gotten far away from those states of being. And now the great infinite, call it whatever you want, is now spurring us to get back into harmony with that. And it's going to cause the world around us to dissolve so that our egos will dissolve, because we've become too ego driven rather than connected to nature. So very interesting times that we live in, to very exciting, to be able to get to sit back and witness all this and to just go with it all. Because I'm going to be honest with you, it hasn't really affected my life that much. I almost feel as if I've been preparing for this for all my life, and especially the last 6 months. I mean, gee, if you watch any of my other videos, I haven't really left my house in 6 months. So people talking about this quarantine like it's the end of the world, it's just another day in my life. So I wish you all the very best out there. I think it's going to get a lot crazier before it gets better. And the one thing that I hope to impart on everybody going through this is, let's say today was your last day on earth. Who would you want to call and say, I love you to? Who would you want to call and say, I'm sorry to? Who would you want to call and say, I forgive you? Who would you, what would you want to take care of that you haven't been, that because it's been nagging at you, your body, your indigestion, your headaches, your constipation, your heart disease, your high blood pressure, all of these physical manifestations. It's just your body telling you, urging you, begging you to let go, to forgive, to ask for forgiveness, to love unconditionally, to help, to serve. A lot of lessons are going to be learned over the next, 18 months. And I wish you the very best. Godspeed.